Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj with the Oradell Sports Round-Up. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Davan McHale, a senior on the River Dell Golden Hawks varsity volleyball team. Thank you so much, Davan, for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Congrats, as said, on actually a stellar career there. Said on the volleyball team, named to the second team All Bergen County, first team All North Jersey Patriot Division. We've had some time now to sit back and think about what you were able to do there. Just what comes to your mind first and foremost. Excuse me.
I have had a few weeks now to think back over the past 4 years. I've been on varsity for all 4 years of high school. And unfortunately, I did miss out a little bit on my junior year season due to COVID, and I was playing club as well at the time.
Okay.
But what comes to mind most, I think, is thinking back to my freshman year and how much I've changed since then. And I think the players that I did look up to who were seniors at the time when I was a freshman, like Emma Plitnicki and Michaela Surratt, I really see myself now in them, and it kind of makes my younger self proud of where I've come.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, when you look at this this current, group here, how many players, teammates landed on, all Bergen County and all North Jersey? Let's just start with that first team with the seniors: Michaela DePaul, Sophia Fernino, junior Emma Vancho. Just talk about, say Kayla, Sophia, and Emma there, first of all.
Yeah, they've been great teammates. I've been with Sophia since freshman year on varsity, and Kayla was had transferred in sophomore year, so she was a great surprise to the team, as well as Emma Vancho also transferred, so she was a great addition to the team as well, a little unexpected too. So but I mean, this team, especially that group you just named, we get along so well, and we really flow on and off the court together. I think everyone's extremely hardworking in the classroom and on the court, which I think is really important. I think we're a group of very intelligent girls. We really and we really enjoy the sport of volleyball.
That's terrific. And then, second team, sophomore Erin McCabe, juniors Emily Sinclair and Lily Crowder. I mean, you talk about, it said the next year's group, the future here for, Riverdale, said Golden Hawks varsity volleyball. I mean, girls volleyball, it is set up really nicely, said here next year, Devin. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, I think that next year it will be a great season for them. I mean, I'm expecting huge things from Alicia and Emma Vancho specifically. And I mean, I really got to know Erin McCabe this year because she was a freshman my junior year when I wasn't really around. So it was great to get to know her. She's such a brightness on the court, and she really lifts everyone up, which I think is great. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her evolve into this like awesome player. I see such a great future for her, as well as Alicia and Emma.
It's wonderful. I mean, you look at the breakdown: 5 seniors, 4 juniors, 3 sophomores. Just talk about this. What made it so special? What made it click? I said this year. I mean, you guys 20-4, 8-0 in the Big North Patriot. Won your first 5, dropped that first game to IHA, followed it up with a 4-game winning streak before dropping a second game of the season to Demers. But just when you talk, about that record, especially, overall in the conference, I mean, that's really got, and just your not only, what you were able to do in the big Bergen County tournament and in the state playoffs, but it's got to bring a smile to all your faces, knowing how much, you were able to, again, thrive on the court and flourish.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I really do think that first loss against IHA was super crucial to our success in the season, because I really think that taught us how to learn how to lose and how to learn how to come back together after a loss. And especially because it was so early on in the season, it didn't really affect the outcome of counties or states, because we were forced to come together as a team. And I really, after that loss, I really saw our team come together and really be super passionate about winning and really set goals for ourselves individually and together as a team. So I do see that loss as one of the biggest reasons why we did succeed so much, especially come the county tournament and states, especially going up against Demarest for the third time. Yeah. We really dug deep into that IHA loss and really learned from it.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to skip over. You won your next 8 in a row, as said, and defeating Pascack Valley in that first round again, at River Dell High School in 3 sets. Can you just talk about that? That was, I mean, a big time win there, Devin. Just talk about that.
Yeah, that Pascack Valley game was great. And I mean, I think we were really out to get them that time because we had lost to them in the semifinals, I believe, of the Paramus tournament. Okay. And so we were really out for blood there, and we really wanted that. We wanted that win to our name. So I think everyone's head was super in the game that day.
Well, let's just switch to the state playoffs, the North 1 Group 2 state playoffs. You beat Jefferson, in the first round. That was important to, of course, advance. And, as you said, face Demarest for a third time. They had your number already twice during the regular season. But, I mean, what a just absolutely, thrilling upset. I mean, winning that first set, dropping the second set, and then winning a close third set, 25-21. Just when you talk about that run, but starting with defeating, Jefferson in straight sets, just to get you guys, in a good groove. I mean, you ended the regular season defeating Westwood, but just to get that win under your belt there in the first round, just talk about that.
Yeah. So that first game against Jefferson, I think we were all a little intimidated. I had never seen Jefferson before, and we had lost to Jefferson the previous year, my junior year. So I think everyone was a little on the edge of their seats. There was a big crowd there, and I don't think we played our best volleyball, but we were still able to pull through in the end, which was, like you said, super crucial, and it really gave us a lot of confidence going into the next round.
So let's just talk about the Demarest game. I mean, is it on their home court? Never easy in that type of environment. You had great support from student section Riverdale, but still, this had been a dominant team. I mean, you talk about had not lost, I think, a match and a set until I think the Bergen County Tournament Championship game against Ridgewood. But again, you guys were able to overcome, all the obstacles, all the challenges, and rise above. Just talk about the emotions of playing in that, type of game. I said, advancing, said to a sectional final was on the line, but here again, just an incredible win. Just talk about it.
Yeah, I get chills when you talk about that game. I mean, I talk about really that game for me especially was it was worth all those days of not wanting to go to practice, feeling helpless, feeling tired. It was just worth every second of that. I remember my freshman year, we lost to Demarest at Riverdale in the state finals, and me and Sophia both played that game. So for us to come our senior year, and even though it wasn't in the finals, but to beat them when Demarest especially was such a strong team, I think was so special, especially for us too, to, kind of come around. And the Riverdale Demarest games are always so high tense. I know many of the girls on the Demarest team. My best friend is Nikki Woods. She's my best friend of all time, and I love her to death. But it's when we go up against each other, and it's just it's a whole new relationship. So nothing but love for all those girls. But it was so great to that feeling the last play when Emma Ehalt blocked that ball. That the emotions in that game, the whole time I could not breathe. I was shaking. Yeah. I was so scared to set the ball because I was scared I was going to double. But I really think being a senior and being very experienced, especially through club and having a ton of club experience, even though I did miss out my junior high school year, going into club and playing against teams from Texas, from Georgia, from Florida, from all over the country really prepared me for that game. And just after that, I saw all my hard work come together and the team's hard work come together, and it was so worth it. it was like one of the best days of my life.
That's fantastic. I'm wondering, heading into that third and final set, the message from head coach, Diane, for Sawa, and just amongst yourselves, you talk about your senior group, but just the team itself. What was, inside the huddle and just on the court itself, Davan?
We were all feeling a little bit down, I think, initially after we lost that second set. Yeah. But we had talked a lot the night before about not being satisfied. And I think that's been a big message for me throughout my volleyball career. So, after we kind of were talking, and we thought that maybe after that first set, we got a little satisfied with our win. And, we said to each other, don't be satisfied with that one kill. Don't be satisfied with that one block. You want more. You want to do it again. So I think that's the mindset that we went into going into that third set. And even after a great play, we were striving for an even better play, which is, I think, why we took home that win.
The pressure must have been so intense, each point and such a close third set. And I'm just wondering, for you guys to remain so composed and being able to, fight through that, that must be just, you talk about adrenaline rush, that's got to be it right there, that you guys, again, said were able to, again, rise above and, defeat, a very talented Demers team.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think there's parts of the games where I've just blacked out from the adrenaline, I think, but I think what snaps you back into the reality and gets your head back into the game is huddling up after each point and hearing those words of affirmation from your teammates and seeing their faces and being, and also being there for them, having to kind of snap out of that and be there for your teammates as well is really what keeps you composed.
I know it didn't end on the note that you wanted to, said with that sectional final loss at Old Japan, but talk about the match itself, and then I guess, the final point, and then, so walking off that court, that last time, said wearing, said that Golden Hawks jersey.
Yeah, so of course that game didn't go the way we wanted it to, but it talked about also a great game and a great team. That first set, I think the points were into the 30s. We were really fighting for every point, and the set had almost ended, and then we went back on the court after a changed call by the ref. So it was just very exciting. I think again we needed to go out there a little bit more hungry for that win. We had been a little satisfied after that Demers game, but then again, I think we played a great game. We all played together. I felt everyone being there together. And of course, Old Japan played a great game as well. I've been going up against Old Japan all 4 years of my high school career. Jola is one of my best friends. It's great going up against her. She's incredible. But that last point, we were down by a lot. So at that point, it had kind of already, I was trying my hardest to play until that last point, but in reality, we were down. And so by that last point, it was a very surreal feeling to know that it was all over. And, volleyball was kind of done for me. So it was very surreal is the only word I could use.
What does that jersey represent? Said playing for River Dell High School and putting that jersey on. What is it that meant to you, said these past 4 years?
I think that this past 4 years, volleyball has been sort of, and that jersey has been an outlet for me. I think that it's people always ask, how do you juggle school and volleyball and homework and SATs? But to me, I think that games and practices even are where it is my outlet. It is my time to relax, even though it is physically demanding. It's that place where I'm able to be at peace mentally. And so that's what that represents for me, that jersey is. That is my relaxing place. Volleyball is my outlet. And then just the players that come with it are just an added bonus. Especially this year, the girls were amazing. Everyone got along. There was never any issues with anyone. We were always laughing, cackling. I'd have headaches from laughing for so hard after we were with each other. It was unlike any other team I've been on.
Yeah, no, excellent points you made, because that's what I wanted to get into, is that not only the mental but physical part of the sport, that there is so, I mean, you talk about injuries, you talk about the physicality, the pounding you take, the length of a game, that it's, I mean, the exertion, that is spent, it just must be remarkable. I'm just wondering, in terms, and you said, especially dealing with COVID, like, this past year, it's not been easy, for you and the rest of the team. I'm just wondering, in terms of the training and just like, how you guys, from match to match, the recovery time as well, Davan.
Yeah, I'd say that the biggest shock is that first week during preseason. I mean, you're pretty sore. Most of us were taking ice baths, to recuperate ourselves for the next day. But, once you get into that, it's like you're sort of in this groove that's kind of like indescribable. Like I said, a lot of people ask me, they're like, how do you do that every single day? And while it is a lot, I mean, there would be times where I was just so tired on the court and I felt like I can't move. But I think having your teammates there as well is like a little push. To see someone else working so hard, it makes you want to work hard. And I think that that physical aspect at some points kind of goes out the window. I mean, I think back to that Demers game where, I mean, I could barely breathe. I felt like I could barely move, but there's a point where you just kind of stop forgetting about everything that hurts, and you just, you got to keep going.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just was wondering, I mentioned head coach Diane first, so just talk about what she meant to you, said in terms of like, leadership and just like, her presence, in the huddle, and the job that, she did this year.
I think it was definitely hard coming in after barely having a season last year. I mean, we had a few weeks and we were quarantined a bunch, but so really we were kind of skipping over a year, and we have all these new faces out on the court. And I think she did a very good job of putting together a team that could take home wins for the Hawks. And over the course of the 4 years, Coach Fu, both of them have been very hard on me to become more mentally strong. And I think that they really saw that this year in me, of being very mentally there for my team. Especially, I knew coming in, I had to be super aware for being a captain on the team as well, even though I had four other co-captains on my side. So I think the biggest thing that she taught me overall was like how to be very mentally tough.
That's great. So I'm wondering, at River Dell High School, were there any other sports you played besides volleyball these past 4 years, Davan?
I do spring track. And
Okay,
I'm
great.
A jumper, yes.
Very good. Yeah, so I'm sure that that helps, with, in terms of your training, said for volleyball as well. If you want to just, talk about that as, well, Davan.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, really my only full season actually for track was, freshman year. And I'd say that track is a lot more physically demanding, but it would put me in a much better shape for volleyball coming that first week of preseason. And yeah, I mean, the jumping and like the jump training would definitely help with your vertical, and the endurance obviously is a very important factor as well. So
that's terrific. You brought up the role of being a student athlete. I mean, not easy to balance out. We've talked to many athletes, time management, being organized. I mean, it's just between practices, between games, and just you're on the move, practically, all day, 24/7. I'm just wondering, again, how you've been able to, again, cope with that. It's, it said these past 4 years.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough, especially, I mean, there's new struggles every year when it comes to academics and athletics. Freshman year, you're struggling to, balance the first year of high school and figure out really how to get in that groove and where you fit in the high school. It's such a big place compared to the middle school. And I mean, now this year last year I was dealing with SAT work, all that extra stuff junior year, but then again, we were in COVID, and all that sort of thing kind of went out the window. So, which I think made it even tougher this year coming back. I kind of felt like a freshman again because, we were back in the building and everything is so new again. And it was hard for me this year to kind of struggle to balance all of my schoolwork, especially with a lot of college applications that were due in the fall to get those done, as well as volleyball. But I'm glad I was a senior coming back from COVID because I think I knew how to deal with it.
That's great. When it comes to River Dell High School, talk about the support, from fellow students, athletics, the administration, especially teachers. You have a, outstanding athletic director in Dennis Nelson, and of course, our principal, Brian Pepe. Just talk about what they've meant to you, especially here at the past 4 years as well.
Yeah. So Mr. Nelson is always great. He's always around. And especially Mr. Pepe this year, every time I look over by the door, he's more than likely standing there watching or posting, clips on the River Dell Instagram. I know his son has gotten very involved with volleyball. He really likes it, which is it's so nice for him to be super involved with our athletics as well as our principal. And two, just the community coming together, especially at those big games, traveling to Demarest, traveling to Old Japan. We practically had both of those stands packed, which was very important to us to have the entire community on our backs, have to look up in the crowd and see parents, friends, family, alumni. It's really great to see, and it's a really great feeling.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. With each week that went by, in school, the build up to these, I'm sure that just talk about that, because I ask, athletes from other sports, but they talk about how important that is, that school spirit, to have during the week as you are, going into game day. Just talk about that, Davan.
Yeah, going into game day, I'm the kind of person who I like to visualize a lot. And so a lot of people will come up and be like, oh, are you so excited for the game today? Are you gonna win? And a lot of people are super excited about it, teachers and classmates. But for me on game day, I think when it comes to it, I like to take some time to myself to, those are kind of empty comments sometimes to me. And then I really like to think to myself, imagine myself making plays, imagine myself setting the ball, imagine myself hitting into the court. And that's what really puts me into that game day mindset, as opposed to, the comments and energy from the people around me.
That is just that's a great point you made, because talking about your, preparation in terms of getting ready for game day, whether it's, the day of a match, the night before, that's really, I think sometimes that is, people don't focus on that as much, but I think that's important for an athlete, especially, when you are heading into such a, critical matchup and, with so much at stake. I think that's terrific. Just have a couple more, Davan. I wanted to ask you, about women in sports. This is something I wanted to, especially high school sports. There's so many outside influences. We talk about social media, so many causes. I'm wondering, in terms of to get your perspective on it, how important it is to have, that voice, and be on that platform. I just wanted to, get your take on that.
Yeah, I think it's very important for women to have that voice. And I'm thinking of some of my favorite social media influencers. I love to follow. I follow Victoria Garrick. She was a former libero at USC volleyball, and she has this big platform now where she speaks upon women in sports and women's mental health and mental health within specifically college athletes. And I think it's very important to see that raw side of athletics, because it's not always what it's cracked up to be. I think obviously she's playing volleyball at USC. She's so talented, but then again, she talks about that this where she was mentally struggling through all this time, and she was dealing with eating disorders as well, which is something that I myself am very passionate about, is talking about those things and being transparent, so other girls and other athletes who are aspiring to be players like her don't get too caught up in that mental aspect of it and suffer as well. So I think it's very important for women to not only be successful in sports, but to have that voice to talk about and raise awareness to those things.
Yeah, no, that's really good points you made. I wanted to pinball it back to you talked about community. It's special that you got, as I said, 2 towns in Oradell and River Edge. So I had to ask you, ask every athlete, is it Oradell or River Edge that you're from?
I'm from River Edge.
Okay.
Yes, and I went to Roosevelt Elementary School. And
there you also have an interesting dynamic with 3 elementary schools, I think. It said that's again, something to pay attention. But talk about that. Like, you have kids from both towns, and then, coming together as one and playing on, these teams. Just talk about how that is panned out for you these past 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because, you grow up in elementary school, and you have the Cherry Hill kids, you have the Roosevelt kids, and you have the OPS kids. Yeah. And once middle school comes, it's already kind of an awkward stage of your life, and now you're forced to be on the court and to be in the classroom with these other people. And personally, I didn't get to experience like the towns teams. Like, I know Sophia Fernino, also, who plays basketball. She was with like all the Roosevelt girls growing up playing basketball, and then now she's forced to be with Kayla on the basketball court as well. So but I do love how we combine towns in middle school, unlike many other high schools, because I think it gets us really familiar with who our teammates will be in high school, where like the athletics start to really matter. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, let's talk about family. Support from your parents, if you have siblings, just what they've meant to you on this journey here for these past 4 years. Yeah, so I actually do have a little sister who is a freshman this year, and she's also on the volleyball team. She was on the freshman volleyball team this year. Okay. And she's coming very into volleyball as well. She plays club volleyball like I did. So I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing her games and being able to see the rest of the team as well. And obviously I've had so much support from my parents, my mom and my dad, driving me always to practices, driving me to out an hour each day to club, to be at the specific club I want to be at. I couldn't thank them enough. My family's a big volleyball family. My aunt was a 4-year varsity player at IHA. Okay. Her high school career, I'm friendly with Beth Powell. The Demorest coach is very friendly with my family, friends with my grandmother. So it's like very fun. It's very interesting to, see that family dynamic. Yeah. And yeah, I love it. That's special. That's great. Okay. Final question before you get the last word, Devin, is what's your advice for younger kids and athletes out there? I'm sure, you're in a perfect spot to, really offer that advice to them. What, you've of course have been, one thing I wanted to ask you is that growing up, what other sports you played, and when, volleyball became, the main sport. I almost skipped over that. Yeah, I actually was a competitive figure skater. Okay. From the age of like 2 to about 12. So for 10 years of my life, I was figure skating. I was at the rink, 5, 6, 7 days a week. I competed regionally at Lake Placid in the Miracle on Ice rink. It's pretty cool. So ice skating's a huge part of my life. And it's very interesting because it's an individual sport. So I never got to experience that team dynamic until I did play volleyball, which I started in 7th grade at River Dell Middle School with Coach Lord. And I love that feeling of being on a team. After being in that individual sport for so long, I had so much pressure on myself. And it was really, I loved being on the team and being able to laugh with other people and share that love for the sport with other people who I knew would have my back and I could have theirs. So that was my favorite thing about volleyball, I think, after figure skating.
Great. Okay, so now what is your advice? It said, it said you've accomplished so much. So what would you say to younger kids and athletes, if they want, of course, one day, said to be successful like you've been?
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is to not put too much pressure on yourself and to just have fun. And I know that's easier said than done, but I think back to when I was a freshman and I put so much pressure on myself to be perfect. And this year I didn't put that pressure on myself, knowing I wouldn't be going back to club volleyball later this spring, knowing that this was my last year. I really wanted to let loose and have fun and enjoy my final moments in volleyball. And something that I look back on is I wish that I had that mindset all 4 years. So my biggest piece of advice to aspiring volleyball players is to really take that pressure off yourself and just enjoy the sport, because it is a lot of fun.
Okay, Devin, you have the last word for family, friends, teammates, administration, teachers, athletics, and the town of River Edge.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being so supportive throughout all 4 years. I've learned so much from so many people across the years, and I'm so happy that I got to experience those relationships with these people. It was so great freshman year having that family to come into at River Dell, and I can't thank that group of seniors enough. And I hope I could have done that for players like Erin or new sophomores and freshmen. I hope I could have been that for them this year. And it was just such a great experience, and I wouldn't have traded it for the world.
Sounds good. Darren, it's just been an incredible honor and privilege, being able to interview you. I can't thank you enough. And congratulations again on your success on the volleyball team, the River Dell Golden Hawks varsity volleyball team. Wishing you all the best, especially with graduation upcoming next year in 2022, and then with college next fall.
Thank you.
Thank you.